All right. So, welcome again. My name is Sean Mawhinney. I'm program manager for the Corporate Startup Lab. This is the fourth annual case competition that the Corporate Startup Lab has put on in the fall. And the first question you probably want to know is, what is the Corporate Startup Lab? What is CSL? So CSL was founded out of Carnegie Mellon about 7, 8 years ago at this point. It was a joint effort between the Schwartz Center for Entrepreneurship here at CMU and the Tepper School of Business. The idea was to create some spot in the intersection between traditional corporate business, academic research, and venture startup worlds, where interdisciplinary students could work with large corporations to advance innovation and create new products, services, technologies, and ideas that corporates can then bring to market and make real world impacts with. And one of the ways that we do that is this case competition, where you are the interdisciplinary students and the corporation in this case is PNC. And we get to pair you guys up and see hopefully some very exciting, innovative ideas that you come up with through the course of the competition. The next question you may have is, what is PNC? PNC is one of the 10 largest banks in the United States. It is headquartered here in Pittsburgh, same location as Carnegie Mellon University, but it is pretty much has a presence in all 50 states across the country. It's also the namesake of our beautiful ballpark, the most beautiful baseball park in America, home to one of the worst teams in America currently, unfortunately. But they are heavily involved in the community here with the university, and just in the banking world in general. They're at every level there. The theme for this year, as you probably have read a little bit about before, is trusted AI in banking. The ideas that PNC wants to pursue in this competition is, how do you create products that are AI powered and use AI, and at the same time maintain the trust of their customers and their clients and their users, by allowing them to feel comfortable using AI, to know that their data is safe, to know that what they are doing will continue to provide a great benefit to them as they use PNC as their bank. So without going too much into that, because you can read that all there, it's why this case matters. Still is very important. Hopefully it matters to PNC, but also to those of you that are participating. Gives you a chance to do a real world, tackle a real world problem with hands-on experience, and or think about creating an AI powered service that PNC can use to, change their business, but also ensure that, again, their customers and clients have trust in them and the product. So you'll get to explore that in a number of different ways when we release the prompt here in about 10 days on September 21st. But before you do that, there's a few things you do need to know and get done. One is to put your team together. So the requirements for this competition is you have a team of 3 or 4 members, that they have to be a graduate level student. So that can be any graduate degree, but also a doctoral degree in a US based university. All right. So they can be from multiple programs. We encourage, again, that interdisciplinary nature. So you might have an MBA, a computer science student, someone working at AI in particular on the same team together. That is definitely allowed, or they can be all from the same program if you have a group of friends in your program that think you have the right expertise to tackle the issue. Team members all must be from the same university. We have had instances in the past where we've made exceptions, where if team members agree to represent a single university, sometimes universities will have cross collaborations with each other and cross programs. An example of that here at CMU is that there are some programs with the University of Pittsburgh, which is physically right next door, where students are both enrolled in both universities. As long as one university is agreed upon to be represented by your team, just I would ask you to email me in those scenarios to confirm everything will work out, but we have made it work in the past. But once you get your team together, you need to make sure that you are registered for the competition, and the registration link is published on our website, LinkedIn. I've sent it out to many of your program directors across several universities. But make sure that you fill out that form. It's a pretty quick Google form, by midnight on the 20th. If you do that, then by 9 a.m. the next morning, your team will receive in email form the full prompt from me, again on the 21st. From that point, you have 2 weeks to work on the prompt do all of the due diligence and build out your product for that period. It is a first round, so it's not necessarily going to be fully fleshed out in final product. We understand that, but as advanced as you can get in that point, you'll have those 2 weeks to work on it. And then all the teams that make submissions, we will put through several different judges over the next 5 days. They will grade your submission based on a specific rubric that is the same across the board. And we will have several deliberations, and the finalists will be selected by October 9th. So you'll know whether you made the finals or not at that date. Only 6 teams make the finals, and those 6 teams will then be invited to Pittsburgh to CMU's campus to present on the morning of October 23rd in front of a panel of judges and representatives from PNC to make a final push for the final prize. So registration, I mentioned, again, there is a Google form out there, and I'll put it in the chat at the end of this call here as well, just so you have easy access to it. But it is fairly simple. You need to just list the names of your team members in your bios, your interest in the theme, and just why you are a good fit for working in this project. And I forgot to update this slide from last year's financial wellness theme, but it is trusted AI in banking. Sorry about that. But if you do that, we do that just to do a little bit of screening, make sure that when we release the prompt, we're only releasing the prompt to teams that are serious about competing in the competition. So that helps us with organization things. That's why we require just that brief registration process. Again, the first round, you'll have 2 weeks to work on it, but on October 4th, you'll be submitting what will be a 12 PowerPoint or Google Slides presentation. It could also be in a PDF form, something that's easy to open across the board, since we have, again, judges from different backgrounds and areas that will be required to view them. And then a 2-minute recorded elevator pitch that you can either send us a YouTube link, do what we're doing here, Zoom recording, whatever is easiest for you to send us a viewable link. Make sure to share with us and it's accessible so that any judge can easily view it. But that will be the deliverables for the first round. They'll get more explanation on that when the prompt itself is released in 10 days. So the final round, just to dive into that a little bit more, and I think this is my last slide. Again, 6 teams will be selected to travel to Pittsburgh on October 23rd. You'll get 2 additional weeks from the point of being selected as finalists to refine your solution to the prompt, and you'll be appointed a mentor that you'll be able to meet with. They'll review your initial submission, give you feedback, do practice rounds of the presentation with them, etc. So give a little bit more in-depth in the final round if you make it that far. On the day of presentations, each team will have 20 minutes to present in front of the judges. Typically the first half, 10 to 12 minutes of that is your presentation, and then 8 to 10 minutes will be judge questions. There will be a timer, so you'll know how much time you have left. Usually if you do go over the presentation time, we stop you, so there's at least 5 minutes of judging questions, but we do encourage you to leave a little bit more. That often gives the judges greater insights to your product than the actual presentation itself, so we encourage that. And of course, the most important thing is, what do you stand to win by joining this competition? The top 3 teams, so 3 of the 6 teams that are selected to travel to Pittsburgh, will receive cash prizes. The top one will receive $12,000 in prizes. The second runner-up will receive $6,000, and the second team or the third team will receive $2,000. I will note that all 6 teams will receive just a travel stipend to help them come to Pittsburgh in the first place. So that will cover most, if not all, of your travel costs. So this is all just on top of that. The prize money would be in addition to that. So I'm sure there's a lot that I did not cover that you guys are really interested in. So I do want to turn it over to you guys now to ask any questions. And again, feel free to just throw it into the chat if you prefer, or you can go off microphone and just ask it for the group. So I can review any of these slides in further depth. I'll share this deck with you guys as well if you afterwards if you send me your email. But again, the video will be published later today. All right, I have one. Go back to slide three, so I should go back into the share. Yep. So slide three is just a little bit about BNC. There is a link to just see PNC's corporate banking page there as well, but I encourage you to read a little bit about them at your leisure as well. All right, I have one hand up. That is, what was it, Madonna?
Yeah, it's Madonna.
Great.
I know I joined in late, sorry.
Oh,
But
no
I
worries.
had so my team and I had a curious question. And I know it might not be a big deal, but it's just something that we wanted to ask in advance. So, is there a conflict if you work for the banks? Because I know, for instance, I work for a bank, and even though I know it's student and I'm a student, I can still do it. But I filed some patent before, and I know how the patent works. So I'm wondering, what do you think about that?
So do you currently work for the bank or are you a full-time student?
I'm a full-time student I'm doing an EMBA, but I'm also working for the bank currently.
Let me double check with the sponsor on that one. I don't,
Okay.
PNC we've been great to have them be a sponsor for third year in a row now.
Mhm.
I don't think that issue has actually come up where someone's currently working for a bank. I know there were instances where people are already planning to be employed by a bank after graduation, but since you're currently working for the bank, I'll have to
Mhm.
get their feedback on that first. So please send me an email separately so I can reply to you individually afterwards on that
Okay, I appreciate that.
specific case.
Hey, hi, I have another question. So I'm Richa, I'm from CMU Silicon Valley campus.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to understand, is it strict to have 3 to 4 team members itself? Can we not have 5 people like
So for five people, there the instances we have allowed that in the past. You would then, of course, if you do advance to the final round, have to share the money if you're awarded one of the prizes amongst five instead of three or four. And also,
Mhm.
we would not increase any travel stipend for that team. So you would probably not be able
Mhm.
to afford to have all five members travel to Pittsburgh since you're out in Silicon Valley. Um,
Okay.
Given
So
that. But then if you agreed upon who would go with your team members, that would be acceptable.
mm-hmm. All right, like makes sense. All right, thank you so much.
Yep.
Yep.
Hi, Sean. I have a question.
Yep.
I want to know what we will be judged on in the final deliverable. Do you expect to have a working prototype, or is it okay if we have like a design ready, or should it be a written presentation? Can you go deeper into
Yeah.
that?
So you do not have to have a working prototype. We give you 2 weeks for the first round, 2 weeks for the second round. That's, perhaps an unrealistic expectation, but to
Yeah.
have a design ready, have a recommendation and a path forward and a business model that PNC can follow to actually develop a product or a service would be would be the ideal goal.
Okay. And also I have another question about the first round submission. You mentioned we need to send a video of
Mhm.
pitch. So one of the team members should if one of the team members does it, that should be good, right?
Yes, yeah. You can have
Okay.
one member involved in the pitch, or I have seen teams deliver it where all members have been involved as well. But whatever you guys think would be the most effective
Okay. Thank
way
you.
of communicating your idea.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I do have a few in the chat, so I'm going to hop over there before we take some in anyone else. So more of a technical or operational solution to implement, or can the solution be a case study or a theoretical proof with case examples? Yeah. So it can be a theoretical solution, something that PNC would hopefully be able to then go test and act on with the examples that you provide. So it doesn't have to be, again, a full-fledged product, but hopefully it would be a blueprint that they can work off of at that point. And I think that will be made more clear when you get the actual prompt, what the actual expectation will be. What would the main elements take into account from the judges to award the project? So definitely they're looking for something that's scalable, something that's financially viable, something that is new and innovative, something they can't really come up with themselves, or something they haven't thought of themselves before, right? So we encourage you to think outside the box and, again, be entrepreneurs. That's a huge part of what CSL is, and what companies like PNC, when they work with us, look for. that kind of new thinking. But again, yeah, it has to be something that you've done your due diligence. The the research and the financial models add up, so that is something that can be actually implementable for a bank like PNC. I will put my email in the chats just for everybody here, so that you guys have that. And I'll grab again very quickly here the registration page. I'm going to get out of my throw that in there as well so that you have it just quickly on hand. All right, I have another question in here. So So you for the final presentation, so the first round presentation, you will need just the prototype video and pitch. For the final presentation, you will be in person in Pittsburgh, delivering it in front of the audience of judges and PNC representatives. So you'll be delivering a PowerPoint deck. It can be much longer than the initial one. You can add in an appendix and just more slides to fully explain your thing. You only do again have about that 12-minute window that you want to use for the presentation, but it will be all in person, so there won't be using video. If your product solution uses video, you can have video in the deck and you can demonstrate that, just again, staying within the time frame. But yeah, you'll want to definitely include your product's unique selling proposition in your first round submission and then elaborate on that in the final presentations as well.
Um, Sean, I have another question.
Yeah.
Because there are two milestones, will you be sharing like expectations, like must-haves in the first round
Yeah.
submission,
So
and then prioritize for later?
Yeah, so the prompt, when it's released on the 21st, will be much more specific, and not only go into the details of what PNC is asking for, but what the deliverables will be for the first round. So I haven't shared too much with you guys just yet. Just don't want you guys to be too focused on that. When you get the prompt, it will all be much more clear about what's expected for the first round. And then the final round, again, you'll have an updated prompt for that. It'll be the same general prompt, but with updated deliverables. And you'll also be assigned a kind of an advisor mentor that will help you hopefully refine your solution in terms of making it presentable for the judges. So it'll be up to PNC if they want to provide data sets. I'm working with them to see what they are willing to offer on that. But a lot of this will be, what can you go out and come up with on your own? Can you go and find during your initial research for the prompt? And then what can you implement, or what can you include in your solution when you submit it? All right. Think I got to all the ones in the prompt, but if not, or sorry, in the chat box, but if not, let me know. Does anyone else have any specific questions that I can hopefully answer now? Or again, you can email me at any time if something comes up later.
Yeah, just one question. Because someone brought up AI. So, are there any guidelines or rules about AI use that we'll have to keep in mind, or will?
So, I mean, I think they bring up AI just in the terms of the project will definitely include AI in the solution. They're looking for AI powered services that they can use that will also be trustworthy for their clients and customers. So, in that regards, yeah, you're going to be trying to use AI to make an AI service. If you're talking about just like how much can you use AI in the creation of a project, it's the same for any short course that you have here in your graduate program. You're going to use AI to help you along, but you can't have AI do your whole project for you. And if you do, it's going to be pretty obvious, I think.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and so if you have someone that's currently employed by a bank, especially outside of PNC, please email me separately and we'll see what we can do in that instance. All right. Well, I'll stay on the call, I think, for another few minutes, in case anyone does have a question they want to ask. But like I said, I will publish the recording of this, in the next couple hours so that if you need to revisit anything, you can. But again, feel free to shoot me an email as questions may come up. We still have 10 days, to put your teams together and register. We have several teams that have registered already, which is great. I don't know if any of them are on the call today, but thank you if you've done that. If not, we look forward to getting your registration so that we can provide you with the prompt, on the 21st. Remember, you do have to get the registration done so that we can provide you for the prompt. That's how we know who to send it to. So, thanks again for coming out today, and please reach out. We look forward to you participating in the competition.
Hi, I had a question.
Yeah.
So, to confirm, everybody who registers receives the prompt.
Yes.
By
So
okay, so by virtue of registering shows that we are serious and interested.
yes, as long as you have all the elements on the registration, and I can just go actually into that really quickly. Um, it's a Google form, pretty much explained, just gives you the prompt and or not the prompt, the theme, and why PNC is interested in this, just the relevant details. Fill out your college you're representing, the names of your team members, your email addresses, and whoever's email address is listed here is who will receive an email. So we encourage all team members' email addresses, and then just again, your brief intro, who you are, why you're interested in the theme, why you would be a good team to participate.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hello, just had a question on the teams. I joined late. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Um, so all the team members should be from the same university. Is that a mandate?
So that's what we prefer. If there are team members from different universities can have cross programs and things like that. We understand, but we ask that you guys agree to represent one of those universities, while you participate in this competition. So instead of representing two, being a team that's representing both, we just ask that they represent just one.
All right. Just one more question. So the minimum number of team members should be three, or can it be lower than that? Like it's another mandate.
So we encourage at least three. If you have less than that, that becomes a burden on you guys, and probably will not allow you to deliver as great a submission for the first round as you would like. Just because there is a plenty of work and only 2 weeks to work in that. If you email me separately, we could talk about the situation and maybe determine if we would allow you to participate with just two. But you still have 10 days to register, so we would encourage you to use that time to find a third team member.
All right, Sean. Thank you so much.
Yep. All right. So I'll stick around again for the next 4 minutes in case anyone has another question. I think I got one here in the chat actually. With regards to the prompts, the prompt will include the actual problem. Yes, the prompt will include the actual problem and the definition of how PNC would like you to go about trying to solve it with the deliverables included.
And I'm assuming that the deliverable, how you guys would like to receive it, will be notated in
Yeah.
an email.
Yeah,
Okay.
so essentially, again, we allow it to come in different formats. If you submit a PowerPoint slide, you can submit, Google slide decks. You can submit a PDF of the slides, but it is going to be 12 slide deck and a 2 minute pitch video will be the deliverable. But the exact contents of it will be further elaborated on in the prompt. All right, we seem to be dropping, so I will be stopping the recording. For those of you left, you can email me with anything that comes up or revisit the recording once it is published later today. I will have that out on our socials by the end of, well, probably by tomorrow, but it will be up on our YouTube page as well pretty soon, so you can check it out there.